Spread of hatred in the name of God. Despite Christianity's teachings of love and fairness being well known throughout American culture, Christian nationalism spreads hatred by influencing political arguments while using racial grammar, and the longer this goes unaddressed, the worse it will become. For those who do not know, white Christian nationalism is an ideology that claims Christianity as the one true religion and that all other religions are untrue and inferior. The beliefs of white Christian nationalists are that America is supposed to be a white Christian country and feel threatened by minority races becoming more common in America. Christian nationalism is a great threat in America, despite all the memes and general news coverage that frown upon racism and prejudice of religion. It has everything to do with politics. According to a Times article by Elizabeth Diaz, Ronald Reagan was one of the first to use racial grammar in his campaign and described America's traditional glory days with vocabulary exclusive to white audiences. Diaz in the Times article even quoted Mr. Mastriano, a Republican and supporter of Trump, saying, "In November, we are going to take our state back. My God will make it so," during Trump's campaign. Trump himself is at the center of a lot of damage on a countrywide level. This is no secret, but Trump spread conspiracy theories about COVID during the pandemic, claiming it was a hoax or a tool that scientists were using to simply control people. There's also the devastation of January 6th, the attack on the Capitol from Trump's influence. In this footage, most of the attackers are of privileged race. Trump only told them to stop after lives had been taken by the incident. This event also led to several others of Trump supporters physically attacking those at Baptist churches, which usually contain a mostly minority following. How this man was able to make it into the White House at all was due to the direct influence of white Christian nationalism, according to writer Catherine Stewart's. One of the many groups affiliated with this is the Family Research Council, that's led by Tony Perkins. Perkins, during his long speech in 2018, witnessed by writer Catherine Stewart, claimed that the 2016 election had been a result of prayer. Perkins urged different pastors to tell their people to vote. She quoted Perkins saying, "We are a divided nation, and someone's values will dominate." This shows the roots of where a lot of people in current times get the "if you're not with us, you're against us" philosophy. This divisive thinking also leads to racism and xenophobia. The Family Research Center also specifically instructed that no sympathy be given to the less fortunate. The only groups specifically mentioned were the poor, homeless, and orphaned. But the less fortunate also include a vaster expanse of people, including minority races that to this day aren't represented properly. The reason why the law doesn't interfere is because of the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which, according to fine law, is the freedom for any person to express their religion and not be persecuted for it. This protects white Christian nationalists and allows them to break nonprofit tax exemptions. There's also been multiple comparisons between the behavior of current white Christian nationalists and the KKK. According to Joel Brown's analysis, they constantly make references to the Christian church in their songs, one of which was meant to be sung in the tune and rhythm of an old Christian church hymn called the Old Rugged Cross. The lack of sympathy for those less fortunate than them in the KK reflected the Family Research Center in uncanny fashion. Not all white Christians are Christian nationalists, some even with a website providing a statement to sign. According to the website for Christians Against Nationalism, white Christian nationalism isn't just a threat to democracy, but also other places of Christian worship, let alone other beliefs. Not only that, but the site also sees that Christian nationalism often overlaps with white supremacy and racial subjugation. The Christians Against Nationalism group's statement reads, "Whether we worship at a church, mosque, synagogue, or temple, America has no second-class faiths. All are equal under the U.S. Constitution." Despite what white Christian nationalists claim, America has never been a white country. Historically, this was the land of Native Americans and was never fully white. And even now, according to Brookings, the white race isn't even the majority. Jesus Christ was not the only prophet to be proven in historical findings, as was Buddha and Muhammad and others. So there's no possible evidence of Christianity being superior in any way. As before even mentioning that Jesus Christ was seen in the Bible being sympathetic to those less fortunate than him, performing miracles for the poor and sick that were considered less than human at the time. There's a clear-cut way to cut off the power from these Christian nationalists. Though it would be close to impossible to change the minds of these people trying to take it back for God, a simple equal footing between church and state could greatly hinder how many of these conspiracy-spreading racist folk ever reach gaining influence. If state law isn't allowed to touch the church, then the limitations should go both ways. Keep the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, and add another law that more strictly prohibits nonprofit churches from engaging in actions that should be taxed, for instance, political discourse and propaganda. Stop Christian nationalists from engaging in politics and limit their ability to make decisions for this proud, beautiful, mixing pot of a country. Sign petitions like the one provided by the Christians Against Nationality. Make your voices heard, because we outnumber them, so don't let them take away our democracy, and make it clear that church and state should stay separated. Once Christian nationalism is no longer a threat on a political level, we can start dealing with its root causes.